Sometimes you're knee-deep in creating a podcast about a man who will never be president and his extremely scary and capable spouse. But then sometimes life happens and that show focused on a man who eats pudding exclusively by finger gets derailed and doesn't release episodes for a while. Hi, it's us. We're the problem. It's us. Well, when that happens, I find it best to call in some expert ringers. Enter Ryan and Kevin, hosts of the Almost Presidents podcast, a show that dives into the people who could have been president but never were. From Bobby Kennedy to most recently his son Robert Kennedy Jr., Ryan and Kevin have brought their audience fascinating tales of many presidential hopefuls, one of those hopefuls being the one and only Ron DeSantis. In the description of this episode are the links to their series, Florida Man, a 5-part series covering Ron's rise to, well, almost power, and we strongly suggest you give it a listen, because Alana and I barely scratched the surface of this, well, Florida Man. But today, for the final episode in our series, Ryan and Kevin join me in discussing what it was like deep diving into Meatball Ron and all of his awkward glory. That said, grab your pudding cup and bowl of meatballs, or don't because that's a weird combo, and join me, Ryan, and Kevin as we close the book on Ron DeSantis and send him walking into the Florida sunrise in his 8-inch heels. Tonight on I Do Not Trust This Person, the weird lives of Ron and Casey DeSantis. Thanks for coming, y'all. This is really great to have you guys. And I know you guys probably have had your fill of Ron DeSantis, I would think, at this point in your lives. But your series was last year, correct? Was that last summer? Is that when we had done all that? Man.
Yeah, back when Ron DeSantis was kind of relevant. I don't know if you can remember that far ago, but
fair enough. Yeah, he's. Did you first off, for those who don't know or skipped the whole intro to this episode, these guys did a 4-episode series on probably one of the worst people in America, and that's Ron DeSantis, and which is why we're having them here. They're the Almost Presidents podcast. Please go listen to them. Fantastic research on so many different people from, right now as we're recording this, did you finish up Robert Kennedy? I haven't checked on that yet. Are you still in the middle of Robert Kennedy?
God help us, we just started.
Oh, just started. Oh, okay. I knew you. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay, I saw the post the other day. I was like, is that ending or is that, because good Lord, we'll probably be talking about that guy in about a year anyways. Yeah. Or hopefully not. Hopefully he will fizzle out and just pull a Ron DeSantis, because that one is, man, his whole family came out against him. That was hilarious. That's
siblings, children, cousins.
Siblings, the entire Kennedy clan. So good for them. Now, first question on Ron, though. Why did y'all pick him?
So I think the initial interest was just in the fact that, we bought into all the hype because we thought there was hype to buy into, which was that he was going to be a legitimate threat to Trump in the 2024 election, and that perhaps we could get some longevity out of covering that, and that maybe it would be one of the more interesting stories in the election cycle. And definitely turned out to be interesting. The longevity part, definitely not there, but a lot of fun moments in between.
Yeah. Did you think he would fall this hard? From where we were as scared as you a year ago, did you think we would be, putting fingers at this point?
Yeah. I personally did not. I like you, I thought that there was seriously something there. In retrospect, it feels like it had to be this way because either Trump collapses and somebody fills his place, or everybody around Trump collapses. And it seemed to have turned out to be the latter. But yeah, I totally thought, like Ryan said, one of our thoughts was basically that Ron DeSantis might be the next Republican presidential candidate. There's a solid chance of it. So we kind of bet on that a little bit.
Yeah, man. Did you, now you did 4 whole episodes on this. What was the most challenging part of that? Because he's a bad person. You're right now literally wearing a "Don't Say Gay Bill" shirt. Is that what that is on your?
Yeah. I got my "Don't Say DeSantis" shirt on.
Don't say DeSantis shirt. That's fantastic. Oh, I need to get one of those.
I mean, I think the hardest part, Kevin, it might be different for you, but for me, it was having to read his book. That book was so bad. I don't even want to say the name of it. I have the "Don't Say DeSantis" shirt on. We will say DeSantis, but I will not say that.
I don't even remember the name of his book, so you're good.
Horrific. And the worst part was when I told Kevin I bought it to do the research, Kevin was just kind of busting my chops saying, "Oh my God, how much money did you spend on that?" Because it, brought it when it just came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, man, actually, you bought that book for me because I used the Barnes & Noble gift card you got me for Christmas."
Oh no! So the Lord also bought that.
In the
so
crime,
Kevin, you're kind of an accomplice in that.
Oh God! Definitely, maybe Google the phrase "Z Library" next time and save yourself some money on a PDF. But we'll hopefully never do that again. So you, Ryan, were the one that read the book. Okay, how is the book? Like, objectively, how is this book?
It's really frustrating being in his head for any period of time, just because so many of the things that he thinks and believes are not true. Many of them are heinous and hateful to people who I hold, dear in my life, to people who do my profession for a living. It put a lot of teachers in peril. And it was just kind of frustrating just reading him spinning his wheels and not being able to reach out across the aisle and smack him across the face.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you both teachers, by the way, or just you?
I'm formerly a teacher. I'm not anymore, but I was.
Got it. This is like seeing him do all of this right now has got to be just, it's frustrating for everybody watching, but my God, like I can only imagine like you wanting to reach in the book and smack him. I get that. Is his writing good as teachers? Is he good? What would you grade that man's writing on? Bad?
I don't think it was that great. I mean, I couldn't tell if he had used a ghostwriter or not.
That's what I was wondering.
I'm not sure ultimately. I would have to guess that he did. But at the same time,
I kind of assume all of these are ghostwritten.
Yeah. I mean, I do think he is pretty smart. I think he is pretty shrewd. I think he can put together a sentence. So I'm not sure. But I'm not sure how much we wanted to get into this because a lot of the things that he was saying in the book, he's kind of like getting some like kickback for it now. I don't know if you saw this thing that happened with the whole stunt that him and Greg Abbott pulled, flying the migrants to Martha's Vineyard now, where they have like, what was this? I pulled an article from the Miami Herald where I was talking about how like Florida taxpayers paid $615,000, $12,300 per immigrant
for a Texas thing, like not even in their own state.
And these Venezuelan migrants lawyered up, got a civil rights attorney, good for them. And what I was reading is that they're now being granted visas because they're claiming like victimhood for literally just being shuttled onto a plane, not knowing where the hell they were going.
So we can, I guess, say that Ron DeSantis is super pro-immigrant, or at least getting them into the country. No, that's definitely not a true thing. But just the fact that he got, we also called him a big old leftist on our show because he has wasted so many Republican dollars. Like, I mean, almost, I think $500 million, close to $1 billion of money he wasted on that campaign of his. It was like,
the fundraising was insane on that campaign.
It really, really was. I was shocked. Do you think he will ever actually? No, I'll get to that later. But that he at least has any of the qualities to be president? Like, is he? Because he and like we had just done our episode on him and his wife and how they're just an absolute unit of a team. Like they are both the governor of Florida. Like they're scary as that unit. Like, do they? At least he, maybe with her, whispering in his ear and helping him plan. Does he have those qualities? Do you think?
I don't think that he's bold enough. Like, I mean, we've talked about this kind of back and forth in our podcast, but there was a narrative that Ron DeSantis could have ran with that he just didn't have the courage to run with. which was that like Donald Trump kind of was like, and not that I use these terms, but it's a Republican campaign, right? So he could have ran on the campaign of like Donald Trump is an instrument of the deep state. You know, like he did the lockdowns, he did, or he oversaw during like the riots, whatever. Like, he could attack on that front, but he just never did it because he didn't have like the courage to take on Trump. That's at least my take.
Do you think it's because he secretly knew Donald was going to beat him and he knew he was going to have to kiss that boot? The well-fitted boot, I assume, at least compared to his own.
Yeah, either that or he thought he could kind of pave a middle path. And also he may not have just wanted like the heat, you know, he may not have wanted to take the attacks from Trump when they inevitably came.
Yeah. I mean, Trump literally spends, I think we have an article pulled for one of our episodes that he spends his days thinking of nicknames for Ron DeSantis and his like, you know, private parts. It's just like he came out with all the best ones. I mean, my God, Meatball Ron was so perfect. Like, and DeSanctis, even though that didn't even make sense, but, in his book too, and I already know the answer to this. I don't even know why I wrote down this question. Is he at all like? Is there a morsel of a decent person in him, or is he fully the guy who oversaw torture at Guantanamo Bay, which I know didn't talk about in that book? But
yeah, he conveniently left that part out, which is why I was glad I read the "Don't Forget Us Here" memoir by the guy who literally made that accusation of him. Fantastic book, by the way. I forget the name off the top of my head of the author. Last name is Adaifi, but really good book. The answer to that, I would say, is it's, you know, until you get up to his involvement in politics, you can kind of trick yourself into thinking that it's an American story, right? You know, his grandparents came over as Italian immigrants. He grew up, I mean, I don't know if you grew up playing baseball. I grew up playing baseball. Yeah. I wasn't good at it, but, you know, played
same.
it. And,
sure. American pastime.
Outfield played 3 innings out of 6 a game, you know. But either way, you know, he was really good at baseball, you know, coming up in, you know, Florida, went to the Little League World Series and things like that.
Shoot, so that's crazy.
You can kind of lie to yourself. But then it's tough because I was reading about his time teaching as Trump was like putting out the fact that he was potentially a groomer, that he was saying things that I think were similar to like what we're seeing in the, you know, Florida education system now, where it's like, oh, you know, like slavery wasn't all bad. There were upsides to it, right? They learned useful things. So there was that part that was tough. The military service was tough because you kind of know that there is that stuff that he's omitting. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it was nice when he met his wife.
Yeah, sure.
Know.
Like,
the way that he wrote it, you know, it seemed like a nice thing.
The young love made him nice. You don't have to keep breaking your brain to try and justify him, because like the answer is a no. Like he, at this point, no. Maybe what one time as a wee babe, like, you know, so was Mustache Man when he was a child, I guess, but maybe not.
I guess as far as the writing goes, because we would start out with a maybe 15, 20-minute segment about his life. The easiest parts to write were about the childhood. I was like, you know what? Like, this isn't one where I need to, like, really dig into the horrific stuff. Like, this is just a kid growing up.
Yeah, yeah. Did y'all get into Casey at all? Like so we had just got into her, and I was shocked at like her level of involvement. I mean, having what was it? She took the chief of staff's office at the governor's mansion or something, and that is that's her office, and the chief of staff works in some sort of intern's office or something like that. But so she has like direct access to her husband and can, like, you know, talk policy and stuff. Like, did she come off as just the like, she in normal public, she comes off as just the housewife of, oh, the poster will lose its value when I sign it, like kind of a thing, like being the second. Does she really come off like that, or did he make her come off like that, I guess?
I got to say, Kevin, I don't know about you, but she didn't really come up too much in our research. We kind of started paying attention to her more once the campaign launched, and kind of realized that I believe she has a background, right, in media, so she did have some chops for this. And I think I didn't know about that chief of staff bit. That's absolutely hilarious.
Yes, yeah.
That explains a lot. But it was really funny on Campaign Road. Just kind of, she almost seemed like a lifeline to him because he was so awkward at retail politics. It was like, okay, either his wife and kids are going to save him, or he's just going to fall under his own lifts.
Yeah.
I wonder if this isn't like a broader critique of like conservative culture a little bit too, because it felt like sometimes she could have done a better job at the campaign than he could have.
Yeah.
But she never could have fit that role because, like you were saying, she has to play like the docile housewife role, and she can't go out there and be this like super aggressive campaigner, like taking on Trump, taking on Biden, whatever. Only DeSantis can do that. And DeSantis couldn't do it. So,
yeah, she, I don't know if you guys knew this or not. She was the one that told him to be likable. And it was at one of the debates, wrote likable at the top of his sheet or something like that. And like, so she's the one.
So that wasn't a meme?
No, that was a real thing.
Wow.
That's what we found in our research, and it was in a couple articles. So that I think she might have been the one trying to help him learn how to smile better too. Like, I mean, it stands to reason because she is in such control of his their what do you call it? Their image. Like they have that image to keep, and they want to be the Republican Kennedys, basically. And it's just, yeah, she has them in lockstep. And so far, they're using their actual children in those political ads. That was, I mean, what do y'all think of that? the MAGA ad that she had him in?
I don't know. I mean, first, I do want to go to bat for Casey. Do you disagree with her strategy to write likable at the top of his?
No.
I mean, I think that's maybe the smartest decision that campaign made.
Well, that's the thing about Casey is that they scared the absolute bejesus out of us. That's why we did our series on it. Even now, like back when y'all were doing it, he wasn't really a threat. He still scares me because what if Trump dies or goes to jail? Like and
he's still doing terrible things in Florida. I mean, did you read about what he's doing to the workers out there?
Oh,
Not letting them have breaks.
Yep, we just did the same thing in Texas. So.
Awful.
Yeah, high five, Florida, Texas. Woo, we're both terrible.
Unholy alliance. Wow.
Yeah, no water breaks, or no city at least. The government can't mandate them in Texas. I don't know about Florida, but yeah, it's crazy down there. Do you because I am scared that he could be? Do you think when it push came to shove, him or Nikki Haley? Do you think if not this time, obviously not, because Trump will probably be alive and not go to jail, but in 28, is it him or Haley?
It's a tough question. I mean, it's hard to see Haley having a strong base in the Republican Party. I mean, she clearly has a certain number of people who are either never Trumpers or sort of people who still yearn for the George Bush era or whatever. But the Republican Party is MAGA now. It feels it's super MAGA. It's rejected that era of politics completely. And I would almost say, I mean, I think, and this is just my guess, but my feeling is that Ron DeSantis goes kind of the way of Chris Christie, where he seemed like he was this big phenomenon for a moment, and then he tapers off, falls off completely. I don't think Ron DeSantis will do the Chris Christie comeback thing because I don't think he has the courage, like I said.
No risk.
But but then I think Nikki Haley just, maybe she tries to do another run. Maybe she goes into commentating or something. Yeah. And I think it's more likely that somebody else crops up and fills that role, not to raise any alarm bells, but maybe somebody like Matt Gaetz, who is very media friendly and very
Carlson
MAGA.
Too. He's our fear monger. That's the one we're the most scared of.
Really?
Yeah. Why not? He's got the money. He's a rich kid. He's got the voice of MAGA. He's an opportunist. Could go on. Hopefully he won't. So then, do you think Ron could ever can he get past any of the gaffes, the meatball Ron, the pudding fingers, the boots? To us, the boots killed any sort of momentum. But is there still room for him to flourish? And America's got short attention or short memories when it comes to this stuff. I mean, my God, I forget half the stuff Trump did.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Trump is kind of a special case because he'll give you a new one every 4 hours.
Fair,
With DeSantis, a part of me is thinking it depends on how long the memory lasts of just how humiliating his campaign was from start to finish and how strange he was as a candidate, and how much that made us realize that like retail politics, like you can't take that for granted. Like in a lot of ways, that is everything.
Yeah.
Even when you are an effective legislator like he is, on the big stage, guys like Vivek Ramaswamy are going to outshine you. Guys like Trump are going to way outshine you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that even if people forget the lifts, even if people forget, I have a particular fondness for the exchange he had with the little girl having the icy, where he just like told her that there was a ton of sugar in it and walked away.
That's right. Forgot about
that. See, exactly. We forget. But here's the thing. I don't think that Ron DeSantis is going to change much in the next 4 years. He'll still be Ron DeSantis. There'll still be another icy moment. There'll still be more of the laughs. I also like the time when he went up to that guy and was like, "What's your name?" And the guy's like, "Tim." He's like, "Okay, nice," and walked away. like that's not going to go away. We'll get more of it.
Oh my God!
I think that'll just destroy him again.
Oh wow!
Plus, like with the forgetfulness point, it also feels like people have totally forgotten about why he was so popular to begin with, and now he's just kind of like this meme. Like he was originally very effective. Even rhetorically, he seemed very effective, probably just because he was on the stage alone giving speeches and he didn't have to like confront anybody or talk to a human being. But he was really effective rhetorically, and he got, to your point, Tim, I mean, he's still very effective as a Republican politician as far as pushing Republican policies goes. But it feels like people totally forget that, and now he is just the memes. Like he's just the guy who like said, "I will not let you down," and then had that like awkward smile on camera or whatever. Like that's all that's left of Ron DeSantis in a weird way.
Bigly, so good. God, it just creeps me out the way he said that. I have to concur. Like the most I think he ever could succeed at is being in some sort of cabinet position if a Republican were to take office. That's the only, because he could be very effective in any number of things, but not Secretary of State. Nobody likes him, but yeah. Okay, well, last question. I'll let you guys get out of here because we kind of touched on a few of them. What were your favorite gaffes? Because mine was easily the cowboy boots. It was like being a Southerner. It's just like, how do you not wear? He too is a Southerner. That's what blew my mind. I'm like, they wear blue boots in Florida. I don't get it, but it's. God. And the fact that Casey, she's responsible for the boots, by the way. I don't know. Yeah, she's responsible for the boots.
She would know better.
No, yeah. He said they hurt. Someone said Casey got them for you, or he said Casey got them for me, and then that was the end of the conversation. That those boots were there. So yeah. But what were your, I guess, favorite gaps?
Kevin, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, my initial instinct is to agree with the boots one. I run our Twitter account. And it was like a huge thing for a while of like, because like, Twitter's huge now for these conspiracy theorist guys, and nothing's better for them than to like imply something based on very scant evidence. And so like the boots thing, they had all these like diagrams drawn up of like what, like how the boots are oriented as like pants or whatever. But yeah, I would say that one. The pudding fingers thing was really gross, but it was also really funny at the time. So yeah. I'll put that one maybe as second, but yeah.
Ryan?
Let me think. I'm trying to think of my favorite one. It's a tall order.
That icy one's really fucking funny. So
yeah,
weird.
I like the icy one a lot. The laugh is classic. A lot of good memories with the laugh, with the smile, with the lips.
Yeah.
Just how it like obviously you don't like to see somebody bullied, but seeing a bully get bullied, there is something satisfying to it. So just 100%. Trump just dunking on him relentlessly.
I know, it's the only time I've been like pro Trump. I'm like, please keep him coming, dude. this is what you were made for. Like, God damn.
But I'm trying to think. I don't know why I'm blanking. Because I wrote a small list. A couple of them I got to already.
Well, let me ask other, while you try and find that one other last question and see if any of your research actually revealed this, because Alana has a theory, but how tall do you think he is? We're at 5'8".
Answer, Ryan. Do you have one? Yeah, I'm not sure. 5'8" you guys have?
I mean, we think he's 5'8" because he is somehow towering. It's because of the lifts. He was towering over Christie and Nikki, and Chris Christie, I think, is 5'10", and he should reasonably be shorter. And Nikki was like also very tall. Like there is just, and then he's next to some other guy and some other, I think he was a cop, and that cop is listed to be like 5'11", and Ron is clearly 2 inches shorter than him. So like at the very least, I don't know. But did you find your gaffes?
Yeah, it seems like you've done a lot of like looking at this one. I haven't investigated this one that much, so I don't know.
Yeah, you guys took the serious. We took the weird, like the weird lives of Ron DeSantis. I guess.
Honestly, yours was probably more fun, and ours was still weird. So
it was
So I'll give you my favorite. Actually, it just came to me. I'm sorry. It's a long day. This one comes out of Iowa. I think it was right before they left. I don't know. Have you seen The Good Liars before?
Yes. I love those guys.
Hilarious.
Greatest podcast on the internet now that they have a podcast. But
yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, they're these kind of left-wing guys who go around and more or less let MAGA people speak their mind.
Yeah.
You know, and then occasionally they'll do some pranks to some pretty high names, or not high names,
high profile people. Yeah.
Yeah. High profile, whether it's like Trump, his kids, DeSantis.
I got Giuliani's son the other day.
Giuliani's son giving him hush money. That was hysterical.
That was, yeah.
So I think my favorite DeSantis moment was when one of the Good Liars people handed him a participation trophy and said, you know, he's our little snowflake. He's not going to be president, but we're proud of him for trying. And before she could catch herself, Casey laughs and Ron laughs as well. Like before they realized they're being made fun of. So that was pretty good.
That's fantastic.
I also liked when Gavin Newsom wrapped up their debate by saying,
that's
you know,
right.
There's one thing that we both have in common, and that is that we will not be our party's nominee for president in 2024. And it happened.
Yeah, that was truly, magical. Man, we haven't even touched on that. Maybe we will in the episode that this interview was in. But yeah, I completely blanked on the Gavin Newsom debate. That was, why would you do that? Why would you?
That's exactly what we
why
said.
would you do that? Like that was? I don't think I've ever seen anything ever like that. Like you had no political upside. All it was an argument on CNN, right? Or was it Fox?
I believe it was Fox. I think Hannity moderated it.
Oh, that's right.
So
yes.
It was a home game, but still.
It's a home game that he lost. Yeah, my God. Yeah. For a baseball player, you think he would have done better.
I can't tell if it was like a Hail Mary or if he's just like genuinely that spiteful and he like really wanted to like take it to Newsom, that he was willing to like potentially torpedo his already like quite dead campaign over just like debating Gavin Newsom or whatever.
See, I think he could be that spiteful. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I will say though, I don't know where he was coming from when he brought out that, what was it, a poop map of San Francisco or something like that? Like, hey, here's all the places where there's human feces or something like that. There's another highlight for your DeSantis scrapbook if you want it.
The poop map, man. He has done some, again, just the weirdest shit. Oh
and
my
just
God.
Knowing how stupid his campaign is, like, I'll bet you that was top of the list. Like, you have to bring out the poop map. Whereas for any reasonable person, you either wouldn't have it or that would be your last ditch thing. Like, all right, if he's totally slapping me around, I'm going to say that San Francisco is literally covered in shit.
Yeah. Like wow, that's who were his advisors and who ran that campaign? Like, I know there was his campaign manager that was doing a 1,000-piece puzzle on Super Tuesday or something stupid like that. But not Super Tuesday, but yeah, man, weird guy, and I'm grateful to you guys for having been here. Thank you for coming, and to the research that you did. Like, the same thing as us. Just document these people if you can't stop them. Like, at least their horribleness is out there in audio form, in books and newspapers and everything else. So, again, thank you guys so much for coming on, and listen to The Almost President. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and take care. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Tim.
Bye.
You've been listening to I Do Not Trust This Person, Season 2, The Weird Lives of Ron and Casey DeSantis. The show is hosted by Alana Matos and Tim Philippi. For a full list of news sources and music in this episode, please refer to the show notes. This episode was mixed and edited by Tim Philippi at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. Executive producers for the show are Alana Matos, Tim Philippi, and Andrew Turner. I Do Not Trust This Person was created by Tim Philippi and is a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com and americathepodcastpresents.com. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.
A production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.